In this video, I'm going to show you another way of bustling your wedding dress train. Now this is ideal if you have a wedding dress that has a very floaty top layer, for example organza, like this one, or chiffon, or lace, or tulle, something that's very lightweight, where the train is a little bit longer than the rest of the dress, so the lining is much shorter, and you want to be able to bustle just the top layer, but not necessarily the underneath layers. So in this instance, I'm using a thread loop, and I'm going to show you how to do it. You'll find this loop on this centre back seam. It's very discreet and you just don't notice it's there during the day, but it performs a very vital function in the evening when you want to dance. So you can slip your finger through the thread loop and then lift it up and hook it onto a little button which I've tucked just underneath this pleat. You can then hook it onto this button and you have a beautiful little tail. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to do this on one of my old organza sample skirts because it's a little bit easier to demonstrate it on a skirt rather than a dress. You will notice of course that the lining is still hanging down, so we need to get that out of the way. We're not going to attach it to the top layer because we don't want to change the look of this beautiful top layer bustle. So instead, underneath I've added 2 ribbons. Now if you look elsewhere on my channel, you'll see a video that shows you exactly how to add these. If I go a little bit further up inside, I can find its matching ribbon. There it is. I tie one to the other, and that will fasten away the lining of the dress. I simply tie it in a bow, let that fall down, and then at the back of the dress you have a beautiful feature of the organza top layer lifted over the dress, and then you've got the bustle ribbons for the lining going underneath. But the first step is to mark where I'm going to do my thread loop. So I've put a couple of pins and we'll head up now to the sewing room and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Right, so this is our beautiful skirt. We're separating out all the layers because we only want to actually put the loop on this very top layer. So underneath this we have another layer of satin and then we have another layer of lining. So that we don't need to bustle. This one we will need to bustle but in with ribbons. So actually we're only putting the loop in the top layer. So this is silk organza, and what I'm going to do first of all is separate out the layers and put the ham in. So this is the ham I'm going to use. This is just a tailor's ham. I use it for shoulders, bust seams, very useful. I'm going to use one of these. So first of all I'm going to separate out the whole skirt. Like this. I'm going to place the ham underneath, and this is going to be my starting point. So I'm going to need a needle and thread and a small pair of scissors. So that is basically my kit. So my next stage is I'm going to secure this to my ham. This just makes it a lot easier to control. I'm then going to take my needle and thread, which I've got ready, and I'm going to start underneath, just near the pin. There we go. Remove that pin because I no longer need it. I'm just going to go over that very carefully. Because it's so long, I'm just going to put my finger through, and I find it just helps to stop it get in a tangle right at the beginning. I'm now going to go down to my second point, which is here. Do a second stitch. Here we are. Again, I'm just going to hold it to stop it getting in a tangle. There we go, and then I'm going back up to the top. So I'm going to do this a few times. Each time, straightening it out to make sure it doesn't get too tight. So I'm still doing this, I'm not doing it super tight, so it's fairly loose. I'm going to go back. That should be enough. From that, you should now have quite a few strands. You can see that that's pretty strong. I'm going to go over again here just to make sure it's really secure and it's not going to bunch up. And now I'm going to do my weaving. So to do this, with your left hand you do this, you turn the needle the wrong way round, so the eye of the needle, and you thread that through here and through there like that, and then pull it to the top, and you then repeat. Now go fairly slowly to start with, and each time you do, you're going to push it up to that end. It's quite therapeutic. This will take about 10-15 minutes, so just relax, put the radio on. Don't worry if you get any tangle. You can see why it's very useful to have this little one here. It just makes it so much easier. Yeah, and just keep on going. Do give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this so far. I'd love to know what kind of dress you've got. Is yours organza? Have you been sewing along with me, or are you just interested and just want to watch and see how it's done? Either way, do leave me a comment because I'd love to find out a bit more about your dress. Once you've got to the end, I'm just going to do one little over. Then turn through to the reverse side. You can get rid of your pin because you no longer need it. Pull your needle through. Do a little knot. And you're done. That anymore, and there we have your thread loop ready to pull the whole train up, and that is that. So again, I get my ham, put that underneath, I'll undo the zip, easier access. So I'm going to bring this through here like this. I'll just show you. And the button I have is a bridal button. So it's got a plastic shank. They used to all have metal shanks, but there we are. So again, I usually do it from this side. There we go. I usually sew just a little bit along there. And then just do a little snip like that. You can now zip this up, do up your hook, nice and secure. Literally loop it on top of the button. Like that. And then when the skirt is worn, the train very simply sits up onto the button. So here you are, you can see the dress and the skirt and how they look once they're bustled up. So in both instances, we've used a thread and a button in order to secure the train over the top of the skirt, and then we've used ribbons underneath to do the lining. So do check out some of my other videos if you'd like to know more about bustling and wrist loops and everything to do with trains, and leave me a comment and let me know what your train is like and whether you have any questions. I'd be delighted to answer them. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.